Hey, hello. Welcome to episode number 79 of the People We Love podcast. I am Adam Choit. What's up? If you're new here, what I do is interview people from all walks of life, often comedians and other artists, about their lives and careers. It's casual conversation, but I also ask everyone to highlight someone they love, someone who they admire, who influenced them, inspired them, or supported them. For more, check out peoplewelovepodcast.com, and the Instagram handle is @peoplewelovepodcast. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Adam Choit, my name if you want to follow me too. And remember to tap subscribe or follow on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And of course, positive reviews on iTunes are greatly appreciated as well. So, today's guest is comedian Allie Zisfein. A fellow Syracuse University graduate, Allie made her way from Connecticut to Los Angeles and hasn't looked back. Although lunch and recess were her favorite school subjects growing up, she eventually became a pretty damn good student. Not too long after moving to LA and with stand-up comedy in the back of her mind, it was her friend and coworker Zack who strongly encouraged Allie to try stand-up comedy. Until one day, she did just that. Let's just get started. Here's Allie Zisfein. So it's good to see you today, Allie Zisfein. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, hey, you're having a super fun 2020 like everyone in the country?
Oh, yeah. World? I was hoping I'd be living with my parents at this point in my life. Yeah, that was the goal, to be living at their house.
How did that all transpire? You were in Los Angeles, correct?
I was in Los Angeles. I mean, I still have an apartment in Los Angeles, which is great. But I flew home March 13th, which is Friday the 13th. I was supposed to come home anyway for a friend's bachelorette party and another friend's bridal shower. And I was like watching the news a lot and just was like, I feel like we're gonna not be able to fly. I feel like this is gonna be bad. And then I was like, screw it, I'm flying home now. Flew home immediately, and then literally the next day, like everything shut down. I was like, okay, well, and I packed like nothing, absolutely nothing. Like I brought my dog and like I brought my winter coat. Like I thought I was gonna be here for like 2 weeks, and now it's been a lot longer.
Gotcha. So you kind of got caught there and you're like, why should I go back? There's nothing there for me right now. I might as well stay here kind of thing. It wasn't exactly planned, but it just kind of made sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, trust me, every day I'm like, do I have anything to go back there for? And I'm like, of course I do. But right now it's so back and forth and up and down. And I'm just like, if I'm comfortable here and I feel like, I'm not just talking to myself all day long, it's a better mental place to be. And like, it's nice. It's nice. I have more than one room to go into here. That's pretty great. Like my apartment in LA, it's like I could have gone from the kitchen to my bedroom to the bathroom. So I think it's better off over here.
You could switch the order, bathroom, kitchen. Does that help?
That's true. I could like rearrange it.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can do that.
Yeah, I would have probably like flipped my furniture a lot. Probably, I probably would have gone crazy. So, I mean, I more power to anyone doing it. I'm so impressed by anyone who's like, no, I'm okay. I'm in my apartment. I'm doing it. I'm like, that is amazing, but I couldn't have done it, I don't think.
I feel like this will be good if we're talking about your parents because you're there right now. So when we get into the beginning of your story, like what you remember from when you're like 2, 3, 4 years old or whatever, because some people claim to remember shit when they're like 1 year old. I don't know if I believe all that, but we'll circle back to where we are right now. So
literally.
I'll let you get into like what do you remember when you're like 2, 3, 4 years old? Jumps out at you like earliest memories.
Oh God, earliest memories. I mean, I just have very loving parents, which is great. I mean, earliest memories. I'm like, I can't really remember yesterday. Earliest memories. It's funny because now being back in their house, I see so many more pictures of myself, like as a little kid with them. So sometimes it's like, I think I remember stuff, but who really knows?
Yeah. Like before 5 years old, it's like people don't, I feel like I don't really remember all that much. It's like under.
Yeah. Also, it's like, I remember everything embarrassing and terrible that happened to me, but like nothing good. That's why would you remember the good stuff?
Yeah, what are some of those things?
Just like just like dumb shit. I mean, honestly, I wish I could remember like truly, I don't know, growing up, like things I remember, like a lot of like after birthday party shit, just like trying on all the clothes I would get or things like that. Like my dad and I have the same birthday, so like he doesn't have a birthday basically.
Yeah.
So that was like a big just like my birthday was always huge, which sucks because it meant his birthday was like nothing. But it was always really like, I'm an only child also, so just like really compounds that. He really got the short end of the stick there. But it was just, yeah, I had a really good upbringing, really lucky. And I don't know what, for maybe my first memory, no, that can't be right. I'd be 8 years old then, that'd be bad. That's the first thing I remember.
Your first significant memory, maybe. Did you want a sibling?
Oh yeah, I always wanted a sibling. I always did. And then I told my parents I wanted them to adopt, and then they said they would consider it, and then I said, never mind, don't. It was a real piece of shit. So
why did you change your mind?
I don't know. I was like 3 or 4. Who the hell knows why?
They took you too seriously.
Yeah, they should have realized that I was a baby and I didn't know what I was talking about. I mean, so yeah, that was a big, like, I don't know what I want. I still don't know what I want. So that theme is very consistent. But
are you still asking them for a brother or sister?
No, now I want them to get a dog.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I really want them to get a dog, which is so stupid.
What kind of dog?
Anything. I just want something that can be cute. And I mean, it's great. You know, I worry about them and I want them to have a little fluffy thing to worry about for themselves. So, which makes no sense. They definitely don't want a dog, but they like having my dog here. That's their, like, my son, their grandson. Like, really. Yeah, it's really fucking stupid. But they love him.
Yeah, what kind of kid were you when you were like 5, 6? What were 6, 7 years old? What were you into in like kindergarten and elementary school?
I mean, I was a big Barbie girl. Big Barbie, pink, like I like
You're wearing a pink shirt right now.
I am. Yeah, like big into pink, big into Barbie. Like still love Barbie. You know, she has so many jobs. She's so career oriented. Love like anything girly. Always been really girly. Like I got a Barbie Jeep. That was like the best gift I still have ever gotten, like the best gift to this day. And I got a nose as one of those gifts. So think about it. A second nose, doesn't matter. You know, you went to Syracuse, you get it. So like, I just very into like, but also like kind of always wanted to be like an adult, like loved like playing like cashier or house or shit like that. Like just like always like liked how it looked to be an adult.
Yeah, but I follow the logic.
Yeah, but like then you get to adulthood and you're like, never mind, go back.
Right.
It's way easier to play this shit. Yeah, I like loved that. I was not. I was just like a really girly girl.
Where does that come from? Does that come from your parents? Does that come from like your genetics? Does that come from society? Does it come from the Toys R Us aisle that's all pink? Is it society brainwashing? It's Toys R Us brainwashing us and our culture brainwashing us with these gender assigned colors.
I mean, maybe if so, they did a really good job. Like it worked. Like my best friend growing up, my best friend from preschool or kindergarten is still my best friend to this day. And we're polar opposites. I mean, she's like outdoor nature girl, no makeup, no nothing. Like we're just opposite people, but just sort of like how it works out. I love that shit and she hates it. And like, you know, yin to yang kind of thing. So, and I mean, we went to the same like Toys R Us and had similar upbringings. So I don't know, just kind of like who I like pretty things. I like nice things. Someone once described me, they're like, you're Allie, you like nice things, which is always, I don't know if that was meant to be a compliment, but.
And where did you grow up again?
Connecticut. So, I mean, but like, not like nice things in like a fancy schmancy way, but like, I like pretty things.
I know.
Like, I like things to look pretty. Yeah, a little bit. I'm like, oh.
I didn't mean to.
No, it's all right. I mean, in all fairness, I know, I get it. Like, but I like pretty things. Like, it sounds really stupid when you say it out loud, but whatever.
No, that's not. I don't think that's stupid.
But yeah, that's as a little kid, I don't know what I really cared about. Like, I had a dog growing up. I really loved that. I was not like a deep thinker, believe it or not. Didn't have. I was like a real slow learning kid too, which sucks. Like, it didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about in school. How were you?
Terrible. I was always really talkative. Didn't want to learn. Like, didn't learn to read till I was like way too old. Like, was not that kind of self-starting kid. Just like wanted to dick around, for lack of better words. And just like wanted to have fun and go to recess and lunch and socialize and be fun and talk to people. I didn't want to do the work.
Yeah, were you into sports or music or comedy or performing or anything like that?
Oh, I
Even
used to like perform all the time. I for like my parents at dinner and shit. Like perform, like just like would get up in the middle of dinner and sing. Like not well, probably. But yeah, always wanted to like be dancing, and still to this day, like if I'm at a wedding or anything like that, like yeah, I'll dance the whole time. Like I don't. Yeah, it's always just go go go, center of attention kind of thing.
you're high energy.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, like
fast talking and high energy.
very fast talking. Yeah, that's been a problem, I guess, but.
Why is it a problem?
My mom's always like, slow down. I can't understand a word you're saying. I'm like, well, speed up. Let's get it together. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, she's known me my whole life. She could pick up on it. Yeah, but I've always been pretty high energy, pretty fast moving. Sports, I did everything. Played every sport. I played softball for 9 years. It's terrible. So bad. I was a little kid in like the way far left or right field where they don't hit it to.
Why'd you play so long if you were so bad? You loved it still? Or
I love making friends on the team.
that's.
I was like, I love the friendship.
That's sweet.
It's sweet, right? I like you're supposed to be on the same team like for like at least 2 or 3 years. I got like traded every year. I think that just means that they were like, no, get her off the team.
They were passing you along.
Yeah. They were like, she's really good. Let's yeah. But I loved it. Like it was for the team camaraderie and stuff. Like that was. I mean, I played that. That was a big one, like ice skating, shit like that. But like softball, I played forever. It was just like sort of what everyone did around here. I mean, I didn't play soccer. That's the one I didn't play. But
what were you best at?
Oh, nothing. I was terribly unathletic.
You were equally bad at everything.
Terribly unathletic.
What were you worst at? Maybe is that a better way to frame the question?
I mean, what was I worst
at? I don't know if I've asked anyone that yet.
I don't know. Honestly, it's like I was a really bad swimmer. Still kind of, I'm not a bad swimmer now, but like, I just didn't like care to like, I was just, now I'm much more athletic than I ever was, but I was like terribly unathletic. Just like not flexible, like how little kids are supposed to be like noodles. I was like, not that.
Yeah.
Very like rigid for some reason, but I mean.
What about music? What were you watching on like TV or anything like that, or listening to music?
I mean, how old are we talking here?
I don't know, like elementary school, middle school, high school, like up until.
If we're talking like middle school stuff, like definitely like Aaron Carter, like dumb shit, like that, like not like
pop stuff, boy bands.
Yes, oh god, Backstreet Boys, like obsessed over them. Yeah, high school. Yeah. Did I see an NSYNC concert? Or no, I said Justin Timberlake when I was maybe in high school. Still don't regret that. That was a great decision all around.
Some women like Justin Timberlake, I hear.
Lots of women.
I heard this on the internet.
Yeah, it's
I noticed this.
It's accurate.
It's a thing.
Yeah, he's fantastic to look at. And watch perform, truly wonderful.
What's he bad at?
Being married? I don't know.
I don't know. He's bad at being single, you mean?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what he's bad at. Truly, I haven't asked him, but
no, I mean, no.
I was big into boy band shit. I loved that. I loved boy bands. Oh my god. I didn't like Hanson. I thought they were creepy.
What about Mbop the song?
It's fine. I mean, I can take it or leave it.
Once in a while, it's good.
If it's on, I'm not going to be like, ew, turn off Hanson. But, at the time when it felt like if I don't pledge my allegiance to the Backstreet Boys, I'll be a traitor to my generation, I would be very anti-Mbop. But now, put it on, I'll dance to it for sure.
Yeah.
So
everything has a nostalgic quality to it.
Exactly. And everything but it did feel like such a life or death decision at the time to be like, okay, look, my allegiance is to Nick Carter. I love him. So I don't want him to find out that I like any other boy bands, very logically.
And that's what you were into in high school mostly, is just sticking around and listening to boy bands and being a get-by student kind of thing?
High school, I don't know. High school was different, I guess. I did cheerleader in high school.
You were what?
I was a cheerleader in high school.
Cheerleader?
Which was a time to be alive. It was something. I don't know. It was fun. It was really fun.
Was the football team, basketball team good?
Yeah, we were state champs 3 years in a row. So
because that makes it fun and a thing to do.
So
I'm sure that
fun.
helps.
like I really liked it. And we
Winning.
were actually, yeah. Oh, well, it was like, I like watching football still because I understand what a winning team looks like.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch your team win like over and over and over again. And to go to the games, the team camaraderie, and like the fans like cheer, like, you know,
Oh
everyone
yeah,
comes to the
Friends.
game.
Friends. You love the Friends.
I love Friends. Yeah.
What was
So,
the school name of your school?
Staples High School.
Staples High School, and what's
Yeah.
the mascot or whatever?
Oh God, it's a wrecker. It's like a construction worker. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, I don't know why that's the weird. Like
Yeah.
that's weird.
It's probably racist in some way.
Oh God. I mean, I'm sure. I don't care. If they want to change the name, I'm fine with it. I hope it doesn't offend. I don't know. If it is, change the name. I'm all
I'm not
for
being
it.
serious.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
don't
being
know.
serious.
You never
Yeah,
know.
no, yeah.
These days,
Yeah,
you
that's
know what?
true.
They're more than welcome to change the name. I'm fine with it. I stand behind it.
Was everyone cool on the on the cheerleading squad and on the football team? Did everybody get along, or was it like a high school, like a TV high school like drama experience and a little
I
bit
mean, it
like
was definitely
what was
not
the
to that
vibe?
level. It wasn't to
Yeah, what
that
was the vibe
level,
of your school?
but it was. I mean, it had that high school TV show kind of feel, but I think some of that might have been because people watched what high schools look like on TV.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it was like which affected which. It was, but it wasn't too catty or anything. Like, you could make, I don't know. I never really like, I kind of floated around with a bunch of different friends. I
Yeah.
think I kind
Were
of
you a
just like,
bully or did you get bullied?
oh, sure. Yeah. I'm not going to say I didn't get bullied. I was not a bully. No,
You were not a bully.
I don't think so. If I did bully someone and they hear this, let me know. I apologize already.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely got bullied at one point in life, but never like, I mean, yeah, girls can be super mean. It's terrible, but what
What
can
if
you
you're
do?
flooded with messages like being like, you bullied me? You have like 35 messages and you're like, oh, wow, I don't even remember any of you. I blocked all this
If
out.
I blocked all that out, that would be really impressive, to be honest.
What
If
did
I
you
could
think
block
that,
it out.
yeah, what did you think you would like pursue after high school? Like, did you have plans to go to
Um,
college or study something or pursue something? Like, where were you at? And what did your parents think of like the hell was going on with your life at this
Oh, they
point?
were like the whole time. My parents have thought that I had like severe learning disabilities and like learning disorders from like
Yeah.
an
You're
early
laughing and
age.
smiling when you're saying this, so it's like
I
I'm
know.
allowed
No,
to
it's
do the same.
okay.
The
No, it's
same.
okay. Like I know that sounds terrible, but like I know my history. Like so I
No,
think for a long sorry?
I was gonna say were you tested
Oh
like
yeah.
with any of these kinds of things?
I was. So can you come here? I was tested. Ugh, my dog is trying to all right, here you go.
That's a cute dog.
He's all right. He's pretty good. I was tested for like a bunch of shit, and then it came back negative, and I was like, maybe I'm just average. Like, can we just go with that? Okay, he's down. And that was like, and then no, not the case. So then they tested me like a bunch more times, and then finally I came back. So they found the right doctor who was like, yeah, put this bitch on Adderall, and then that's kind of how it worked. My senior year, like my grades got a lot better, and I focused a lot more on school, and I got like, it was just like, but it was like that shit's crazy. I don't know. I don't advocate for it anymore, but so yeah, I kind of got more focused, and I wanted to like perform in some regard or write, or I was always much better at writing and like history. And yeah, then I was at like math or science. I was okay at science, but like if I didn't do, I was into like forensics in that kind of in like the anatomy, but most like math was the antichrist. So kind of I had an idea of going into like something with language or like some kind of performing communications, and it's kind of
Did
how
you
it
have
went.
any performing experience up to that point, up until through high school at any point?
Not really. Like, I mean, as a little kid, I did a bunch of plays. I forgot about that. As a little kid, I did a bunch of plays,
Yeah.
but I was like, and at camp, I did some plays. All right, so I had some experience, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
professional. Believe
But
it
it
or
was always
not.
in the back of your mind, and it was an experience, and it was always kind of stuck with
Yeah,
you.
I guess
Sounds
so.
like.
Like I'd always done some kind of performing. Yeah, I guess I'd always like, and it was never. I think I always like kind of thought it was like supposed to be something that you didn't do because I didn't realize it was a job for a super long time. I didn't realize like that performing was a job because my parents had such like traditional trajectories and paths that I didn't understand. I don't think that like the people that I mean I knew acting was a job,
Right.
but I didn't really think like it was practical because it wasn't something that like was right in front of me that I could see people doing every day. That
Did
makes
your
sense.
did your parents like encourage you to go into a certain field or direction to study something or pursue something? It sounds like you're on the path to something creative or with the languages where we're headed or something like that. But did they ever like encourage you to go down a certain path?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, like my mom basically was like, you should go to Syracuse. There's a lot of Jewish kids there. And that was basically, yeah. And I was like, okay.
But
Like it
not
wasn't,
about like what about your major or like career
I
path?
mean, they also were like, communicate, it's the best communication school in the country. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this adds up. And like, but yeah, a lot of it was like socioeconomic levels and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, just get
you'll
you to
get
the
along with.
next just get you to the next step.
Exactly.
Not don't worry, they're not worried about what exactly you're gonna do. Just get her to college, just get her to this thing, just get her to the next thing, just get her to the next thing
Exactly.
after that.
It's yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like you get spit out of college and they're like, what am I supposed to do now? And it's like you just got to figure this out now. And you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's
So
kind
you
of
went
yeah.
so you went to Syracuse is what you're saying.
Yes, I went to
Yeah,
Syracuse.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was. I
I
mean, I
went there
loved
too.
it.
I went there
Yes,
too, of course.
yes. It was. I mean, I loved college. I think college was like the best time of my life. Not to say that this time is not miraculous. You know, this year has been nothing but rainbows.
I would
But
not compare other years to this year
fair
because
enough.
in
Fair
good
enough.
and is a year good because this one's not going to
Yeah.
win on most people's.
Well, yeah, this one. I mean, this one. There's growing experiences in it, but yeah, I wasn't. It's like, and I feel terrible for kids in college right now because like, what a freaking time to be alive to have to go through like it's crazy to think that my biggest problem in college was like, what boy likes me, or you know, how am
Yeah.
I going to get drunk this weekend? Not like, is the world falling apart entirely? I was like, no, I didn't care. You're just in
Yeah,
such a
people are not even
microcosm of the
people
world
are
that you don't. Oh, go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say people are not even in college right now. It's like it's all
I
like
know.
online or whatever. It's like you don't even have that experience.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like as a college student, what I loved most about it, I think, was that it was such a microcosm of the world. Like it was the first time I got to be an adult on my own and like on my own. I mean, and like see what I could do on my own. So I got really good grades and like, and I kind of had to figure out how to balance like a social life and getting good grades, not necessarily because like for some career aspirations, but because like that's what you're supposed to do. But
Right.
I don't know. I always have an issue, not an issue, but it's looking back on college now. I'm like, it's so crazy that you throw these kids who are like, they're like, okay, now you're not gonna live with your parents. You're gonna live on your own in a different city, like 5 or 6 hours away from your parents who have taken care of you your whole life. And you kind of just have to like experiment with how to make new friends and meet a bunch of new people and also get good grades and also like be a human being. And it's like, that's a lot of shit to throw on a kid who's like 17 or 18 years old. It's a
Yeah.
lot to put a kid through. And I think a lot of us do thrive in it and it's amazing. But looking back, I'm like, damn, that's a lot to throw a kid into who like, if they're not ready for it, can swallow you up.
It depends on what your definition of thrive is.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of kids drop out or like their expectations aren't met or they have a really hard time kind of figuring it all out and navigating it. And I got lucky. I think I kind of navigated it in a way where, I mean, I'm sure I had hard times, but when I look back at college, I like have fond memories.
I want to know what you studied at Syracuse and where you lived all 4 years. So I'll let you
Oh,
kind of tell
yeah.
those
I
stories.
studied. Um, I lived in Lawrencton my freshman year.
As did I. What floor were you on?
I want to say 12.
18.
Okay, yeah. Oh, those fire drills were such a bitch. Such a bitch. Because
I
you had
I
to walk.
don't I don't think I left. I think I was like, nah, I'm gonna
Oh,
stay
you
this
didn't
time.
leave. Oh, it's fucking terrible. Oh,
I'm a
they were
non-leaver
bad.
for a fire drill because if I don't see smoke or smell smoke, it's a
You
drill.
don't go? Well, that's fair. But I mean, I remember, oh God, I remember these kids like
You'll
working like,
know if it's a real fire. You can see the
I don't want
panic
to
in
find out
everyone's
the hard
eyes. You can
way.
see the panic in everyone's eyes around you.
You know what? From the 12th floor, I was like, better be safe than sorry. I don't want to. I went. You know, you meet a lot of your neighbors that way. It's great.
No, you should. Everyone should do what you're
I know.
advocating.
I know. I agree with
I'm
myself.
not advocating for what I'm doing, but yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. So I lived there my freshman year, and I was undecided my freshman year. Still am undecided.
You're still undecided.
Very much. My sophomore year. Oh God, I forgot about this.
We'll come back to it.
No. My sophomore year, I lived in a 6-person suite, which they only have like 2 of them. I got really lucky. My freshman year, I just we made a group of like 6 best friends that we all did different sororities and did all different things, but it just worked out that we all wanted to live together our next year. So we lived in a 6-person suite in oh God, I don't remember the name of it.
I was in Watson. Was that what it was?
Watson.
It was Watson?
That's right across from Sayu. Does that help you at all?
You don't remember. It's okay.
I think it was Watson. Yeah, it was Watson. It's like
a flat.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's where it was.
Flat, more spread out kind of building.
Yes, that's what it was. We lived in Watson. Thank you. My sophomore year. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so far we're 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Then I decided to do. I wanted to do business at first, and then because my dad's in finance, and then literally 2 weeks into that major, I was like, "This is a nightmare." And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why you hate math." He's like, "Yeah." He literally was like, "What are you talking?" He's like, tells me Allison. That is my real name, but he's like, "Allison, why would you even think you should do that?" And I was like, "Because you do it." And I'm like. He's like, what does that mean? So
you panicked. You wanted to. Yeah. You're thinking about a career or something like that.
Exactly. Clearly, that ship has sailed. But yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, I gotta do business. I gotta be a businesswoman and do businesswoman things, and that was not gonna be my forte. So then I transferred into Newhouse. I transferred in, which was very taboo.
You must have had good grades though to transfer into Newhouse.
Oh yeah, no, I was Dean's List or whatever all 4 years. I was heavily medicated.
Can't get me some of that.
No, it's terrible for you.
Oh, okay.
Terrible for you. It ruins your. I think it's I don't know. I honestly, it's one of those where it's I'll do the work if I like to do it, but.
It's a mixed bag. It's a
mixed bag. In college, I was like, look, you got to get your grades to get your parents off your back. And honestly, as soon as I kind of showed them, as soon as they left me alone, I got really good grades. And they were like, oh, maybe we should have left her alone the whole time. And I'm like, exactly. That wasn't my plan, but it worked. And then my junior year, I lived in Toad. Where'd you live?
I was in a house on Euclid Avenue, junior and senior year.
All right. That's where we're going to fall off. I was in a house my senior year, but
What was Toad again? Toad
was this it's like a little ship.
It's funny because I remember that name, but I don't remember what it is.
We lived there because it was right across the street from our sorority house, which was convenient. My senior year, I lived in my sorority, but my junior year, I lived there only for a semester because then I studied domestically abroad in Los Angeles. But we were in Toad was this little shit box. It was this little.
Oh yeah. I knew people who lived there. I'm gonna give you criticized for not remembering what this is. People you fucking losing your mind.
No, it was fine. Honestly, it was an apartment. It was the first time we lived in. It was the first time we lived in an apartment kind of style because if you remember your freshman sophomore year you didn't have a sink in your apartment. You didn't have
right.
You shared a bathroom. You shared everything. It was so nice to. It was so nice to finally have your own space.
Right.
I don't know. That's how mine was. And then senior year, I definitely didn't have my own space because I lived in a sorority house with 35 other girls. So yeah. But that was
a good experience.
I loved it. I loved it. That's the thing. As an only child, I always wanted siblings and people around. So it was
I see.
People were always around, constant. It was great. I love that, and it was the best time.
And everyone got along. For the most part.
Yeah, I think I get along with most people, honestly. So yeah, I would say if anyone didn't get along, also I wasn't really involved in the sorority politics itself. I was on the panel. Yeah. I was in the I was like more important. No, I was in like the higher committee. I was the philanthropy chair for like all of the sororities and fraternities. So I wasn't involved in the small
Inner
politics of
workings.
it. Yeah. So I got to lead the drama. If there was drama involved, didn't have to be involved in it, which was cool. But I mean, yeah, I didn't regret a second of it. I loved that time.
Did you ever declare a major or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I should have done that. Yeah, I majored in, so my sophomore year, I must have declared my major. I majored in television.
You transferred to Newhouse. Yeah,
I transferred to Newhouse, and then I majored in television, radio, and film, and I minored in marketing. And I truly don't know what either of those things mean still. But it's been great. Like I do think a lot of the experience that I got through Syracuse was like through internships and through experiences that like it connected you to alumni.
Right. Networking.
I mean, a lot of it. Because truly, I'm like, what the fuck did I learn in college? I have no idea. I know I learned a lot. I don't remember any of it. Truly, it's like and it doesn't mean, but it sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like you learn how to like be a human, kind of, and how to exist in like a society on your own. I mean, a very drunk and stupid society on your own. In addition to also trying to like learn a career and a craft that you can bring into the real world, it's a lot. I don't know. I reflect on this maybe too much lately, but it's like, it's a lot to put on a kid.
The real world is pretty drunk and stupid as well.
It is.
In fairness to the typical college environment,
that's true.
The real world is. I think those were your words.
Yeah, I think
they should use this in the promotional content for the university.
Look where I did love my like domestic abroad time in LA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it was real experience working in Los Angeles, and like, yeah, but I'm just like, what skills do you gain being a TV major? I don't know. I'm really good at communications. I'm really good at communicating, I think. Most people would agree, I hope. You can tell me if it's otherwise, but I don't know if that's like a skill.
So far, so good. Yeah,
right?
It's all skills. It's on your LinkedIn profile, probably.
Oh God, we're updating that shit. I mean, got to be updating that these days, but whatever. I mean, it's, I think it's, yeah, I don't know. I guess communications and like that, like kind of personality has always sort of been like the thing carrying me through stuff.
Yeah. Like, what about doing comedy? Did people around you think you were funny? Like, were you into stand-up comedy?
Well, so like my sophomore year, my mom used to always say, like when we get in fights, she'd always say, I wish I had a tape recorder so I could record all the mean things or dumb things you say. And then my sophomore year, maybe my junior year, I was dating this guy who had been a friend and and he used to say that he wished I had a tape recorder so I could hear the funny things I said. And I was like, oh, that's really weird that these two things are like, it was nice, but it's like,
people want to record you. People think you're worth recording.
One way or the other, it was worth recording. And I was like, okay, I guess it's a good thing. And then I went abroad to LA. And then I am air quoting. I don't know. I just want to make sure people know that I know LA is not outside of this country.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels that way, but it's not.
I try to tell. I sometimes describe the air quotes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm keeping up with you.
Yeah.
Right
air quotes here. Yeah. Basically, oh wait, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I got it. Okay.
But you brought in LA comedy.
And yeah, like I interned at like Funny or Die and E! News. And I really liked it. I was really into the Daily Show and the Colbert Report at that time. Still am. I mean, they're not around, but I'm still into like politics in that regard. But I got really into like political satire at the time. And then that's sort of where I got like this affinity for wanting to write jokes, and wanting to like be relevant and kind of make the news and be help. That's where I found the marriage of like bringing together the real world and comedy, and then my senior year, basically, like I did like a couple. I mean, I wrote a lot my senior year, and I started like writing little articles for BuzzFeed and things like that. And then
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly listicles and shit like that. But that was the first. But my senior year, when I lived in that sorority house, I felt like it was the first time I was ever like, people were like, you're funny. Or maybe my junior to senior year, something like that, where it was like, oh, that's a thing I could be. I could be funny. And then it sort of just kept going. Right after I graduated, I moved to LA. And this is a person I actually love very much. I got a job at a talent agency, and I knew I wanted to get into stand-up. Worked at this agency maybe a little bit less than a year. I don't know. Oh God, what a crazy, I don't know. In hindsight, like looking back on that year was crazy. But a friend of mine that I started working at I was a receptionist there, and then I moved to the comedy desk, which was great. But when I was working as the receptionist, my friend who was in the mailroom would print out this thing called the Comedy Bureau, which is like all of LA's open mics and comedy shows every single day. And he would print them out. He'd print out all the open mics and leave it on my desk like every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Who's this friend? Who's this friend?
Zack Parker. He's a really good dude. He produced, I want to say, a movie that did really well. I don't want to fuck it up, but he's a great guy and a really good person. But yeah, he would print it out every single day for me. And which is like, I mean, granted, you're in the mailroom, you're doing a lot of printing, but still.
Yeah, no, that's very nice.
It was really cool. And then he started putting on his own comedy show. And I was like, I want to do it. And he was like, no, you have to go to an open mic first. So he dragged me to my first open mic. And I wrote like hours and hours and hours, and I just ate shit constantly. I mean, I was I was bad. And then
first open mic,
I was like, this is my first time. I'm really nervous. But he was there, and he came, and he supported me, and he let me do a set at his show. And I mean, I was not like a super ambitious comedian when I hit the ground. I think I was really nervous that I wasn't going to be funny, and I just kind of just kept making excuses. If he ever hears this, he'll be like, yeah, you kept saying you got to do laundry instead of come and perform at my comedy show. Like, I was very nervous. And yeah, I was super nervous, and I just didn't think I could do it. And then I did it. Basically had another job where I was an executive assistant, which was a very time-consuming, intense job. Like, it was really, I learned a lot, but it was super draining. And basically, my mom came to move me into a new apartment in LA, and I just broke down and was like, I can't do this shit. I was like, I want to pursue comedy. I want to do stand-up. It's what I want to do. It makes me happy, and I'm miserable doing everything else. I'm like, I can't be on the business side of this anymore. I want to be a creative. And basically, after that, I got a job at Anthropology for like 10 seconds. And then I worked at a gym for the next 4 years, and I was able to pursue stand-up because of that, because the hours were really flexible. I would work at like 5:30 in the morning until maybe noon. No, till like 1:30. And then I'd go, take a nap, and then I'd go do a bunch of mics. And it kind of just went that way for
Smart.
I mean, smart, maybe. It wasn't exactly
for their time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it got me my sea legs, if you will. I jumped into it. I figured out a routine. I made friends doing stand-up that way. It was a good way to start for sure. And then it worked. It worked for a long time. Eventually, the whole thing that my hardest thing, and still obviously was to figure out how do I make a job work when I'm doing with stand-up if it's not going to be I want a job that's a means to an end, but the stand-up is the passion and the career that I want to be pursuing always. So how do I, and until that is the career, how do I supplement? So that was, yeah.
No, a lot of people, and myself included, are dealing with that question, and it comes out podcast after podcast about balancing, your day job and your source of income with your creative passions, with which you hope can eventually be your number one, source of income. And
it's hard to grapple with like, but still, obviously, everyone in this country right now, most people at least, are probably reevaluating their lives or trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. And I look at myself and I'm like, what skills do I have? What skills, like, in reality,
It's like me.
it's hard to, but at the same time, it's like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm able to do. And like, I think it's hard when you kind of have to, especially when you just stand up and a lot of your job is to kind of not necessarily self-deprecate entirely, but to kind of, you're allowed to poke fun at yourself. I definitely poke fun at myself a lot. So then when you have to do the reverse and put yourself on a resume and be like, this is why you should hire me, it's a little bit more difficult. But that being said, I will sometimes be like, hey, what do you think of me to some of my friends and be like, what do you think some of my skills are? Or how would you describe me on a resume to like, help, you need help. It's hard.
Yeah. No, I've used some services and stuff for things like that over the years, to be honest, like resume and LinkedIn people, like all people who help with like that, how to write a cover letter. Like I don't know how much it's helped me, but it's helped me at least be more confident than I was before in sending something out to someone. Like,
I mean, that's the thing. I always, I interned at the Colbert Report, this summer before my senior year. And that job I got because I just didn't stop email. That's the thing. Like when I want something, I will get it. So it's sort of a thing where with comedy, it's like, I know that it will be my career one day in some capacity because I want it, which is good. And I like kind of forgot that until I just said it out loud. But with like the Colbert Report, I remember I emailed like every 2 weeks about this internship. And I remember I didn't get an internship that I had wanted, writing for this website. I was really upset about it, and then basically got an even better internship after that. And it was like, and I just was so persistent about it. And I still have contacts at those places, because you just, and those people, and like, it was just a thing where you just have to keep pushing for what you want.
Yeah.
And it can seem crazy because it's like everyone's doing that, but what's to stop you, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, without being like annoying or creepy about it.
No.
Yeah, that's really
exactly. You don't want to be. You want to be persistent without someone being like, leave. And also now that I've been a manager and I've hired and interviewed and not hired plenty of people, and that's a weird position to be in too. Like now that I've been on the other side receiving resumes and stuff for jobs that really, I mean, I think one thing that a good skill that I've gained as a manager is that just because someone like seems good on paper sometimes does not mean that they're a very hard worker, or like being a hard worker goes a long way. And just
talking about like a talent manager, like what kind of manager?
I mean anything. No, I mean I interviewed plenty of people who, when I was managing a gym, I interviewed plenty of people that had worked at talent agencies, that had to roll calls, that had to like balance heavy schedules for bosses and and which I had done too. Like I would assume that anyone who had to be an assistant to a talent manager or an agent or anything really was a very hard worker. And that is not the case. That is so not the case. It's crazy. So, I think I got really like whipped into shape by one of my bosses. And I still love her, and she, we're still friends. She really I could work for anyone after working for her, not in a shitty way, in a way where it's like, yeah, she taught me how to be like the assistant that I would want someone to be for me. So after that, kind of like, I kind of had no tolerance for like people who just, because I don't know. And I worked at that gym. I became the boss really kind of quickly, but it was just because I worked hard. And if you need to make more money and you want a schedule to work for you, it's doable. You just kind of like, you have to be willing to do the work and just like not dick around all the time. And honestly, I found that some of the people who are super creative, a lot of my friends who are actresses and writers who I hired to work at that gym, were the hardest working people there. Plain and simple, because it was a means to an end for them, but they needed the job and they weren't going to do a half-assed job at it, as opposed to these people who were like more professionals who, truly, I was shocked by how terrible they were at like a very simple job.
They get like tenure. They get like tenure or something at the gym.
It was, I don't know. People just like get really, I think they think the job is below them. I think people think
At some point, yeah, or any job you're saying.
I think, yeah. And I think they're complicit and they're just like, oh, this is below me. I'm not gonna. And it's like, no, you have no job can be too small. You have to do and you have to kind of know that like, you have to start at the bottom a lot of times and work your way up. So no job can be too small.
What did mom and dad think of like this part of your life when you were working at the gym and pursuing comedy? Did they see you perform? Did they see you progressing? Did they give you notes? What was their response to kind of where you were at with these things?
My mom has fully turned into a stage mom. The stage mom she was always born to be, I guess. By that I mean like she listens to everything I do. She has seen a lot of my stand-up. She's told me when I wasn't on or when I was, or when others were better than me, or, oh, that person's such a little, like, just plenty of criticism, but whatever. It's all out of love. It's not like,
Is she right? Do you agree with her a lot of the time or no?
Sometimes, yeah. There's plenty of times where she's right, which makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah.
I think, they've seen me go from being like, and I'm not saying that you saw me. I don't know what you saw, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been invited to you to have a conversation on this podcast if I didn't think you were funny.
Well, thank you. That was a really fun show. I love that show. That was super fun. Kids in the Yard, right? That was great.
I think so. Yeah.
Super fun show. So fun.
They should do it again, socially distanced. Socially distanced.
That was a great show in Southland Comedy Festival. That was like the last big stand-up thing I did.
That might have been the last big thing I went to. If I possibly, I don't know. I have to check my calendar. That might really be it. I don't know.
It was February, and it was like and that was an awesome festival. I bombed one night on that show on that festival for sure. Some nights I did great. I think that's how it goes. Sometimes you suck, and sometimes you don't suck, and it's okay. Like it sucks when you bomb. You just feel like nothing matters anymore. There's just no point in and it's just,
you don't get used to it.
No.
Or to some degree at all.
I remember someone once told me, they're like, yeah, I bombed so much that I just, not in like a she was bad or anything way, but that I just get used to it. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I'm a sensitive lady and I take it personally but I don't think any of my friends would tell you otherwise, like sometimes.
But you keep going.
Like, you gotta just keep going. You can't, you shouldn't let it stop you, but you definitely, and you take inventory of it. Like your work, like when you bomb, you take inventory of like everything from like what you were wearing to what you were doing right before to what you did right, like 10 minutes before to how you prepared.
Wow. This is why I don't want to pursue what you're pursuing. This is why I don't. This is part of it. I'm already, too much is going on in my mind at once to have to be at the level you're bringing, which kind of makes sense. I follow why you would want to analyze this, but when does it become over analyzing? Then you're analyzing that. I don't know. At
some point, like I watch a lot of my peers too, and I think a lot of it's just watching people. And one thing I just remembered early on was like, because I was nervous for sure for a long time on stage, and I remember the people I loved watching the most just were having fun with it. And they were just as present as humanly possible and just like in the moment. And they fucking wrote jokes. They didn't go up there and riff. And I have been known to go up there and riff and it not go well. And it's like, yeah, write a joke, like do the work. When you, and time again, like a lot of times when you have a joke that works, it will work. So stick to it. Like I tend to get lost in my own head sometimes and I ramble on and I'm like, oh yeah, no one else knows what stick to the written material. It works. And keep doing it. But I guess these are kind of like lessons you have to learn, but I wouldn't trade
experience.
Yeah. I wouldn't trade anything. It's such a weird thing to think about, like that I haven't been in LA for so long and how much has changed with comedy in like the 4.5, 5 years I've been doing it. Just like the places that have changed, the friendships you've made, and like just like there's a place called the Hollywood Hotel, which I don't know if you've ever heard of, but like I used to spend a great deal of time in the shitty bar at the Hollywood Hotel. And like that's a place that I think, like, just to go back to like what my parents would say, like they would be disgusted if they saw that place.
You were doing a mic there.
Yeah. And
that's good, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're performing there.
Yeah, I should have I should have prefaced that.
I'm joking around, but yeah, I follow.
That did sound bad.
I would just go to this bar all the time. The shitty bar. It was just my place.
But it was a place where like a lot of you just like bombed there over and over and over again. But like that's what you did there. There's plenty of rooms like that where you just go to bomb. But you get better. And like
it's valuable.
Yeah. And I mean, and when you do well there, it really counts.
It means more. It counts for more in some regard.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trade any of the time I've been doing stand-up for like anything. I don't know if I regret any of it, but I don't think I do. I definitely regret some of the places I brought my parents to watch me do stand-up.
Yeah. Tell me about your parents watching. And you said they kind of have like noticed that you're progressing and your mom's a stage mom. And
yeah, I think that they think I'm too dirty, that my material's not clean, which is not.
You disagree?
Oh, no. My material is not clean. I agree with that.
Yeah. I agree.
But like, it doesn't mean it. And I'm open to like, I'm not open to necessarily like changing whatever, but I don't think there's anything wrong with like adapting to things. If I can write a good joke or a great joke without it being as dirty, then that's great. I think the idea is like, it's sort of like using like swearing in a joke. If the punchline is a curse word, like it's not really a punchline, it's the joke has to be funny without it. But like, yeah, a lot of my jokes are dirty, but I don't know. I've never felt
that's you. That you're being you. You're being you. It's not coming from it's not coming from a forced place. That's not a non-organic forced place.
And I've never really felt like judged for it or anything. I've never really felt like, oh, you're like a dirty, like slutty or something like that. Like it's never been like that. Like it's just yeah. I don't know. They're just jokes. People get it. I think
it's like. Yeah, like you got to commit to it, I guess, because like if you're just like a clean, and all of a sudden you're like have this slip in this random thing in your act that's like super dirty, people are like, what the hell? Who is this person? Like people won't buy it.
I mean, it's never a thing that's. I try to keep it I try to keep it as true to myself. Like a lot of my stand-up is based on real life.
Sure.
So it's like it might not be. So yeah, sometimes it's dirty, but it's not necessarily like it's uncomfortable or. But for the most part, I like to be able to try and stand behind my jokes. But it doesn't mean I'm always willing to like make them better. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
What is your like long-term or even shorter term, like goals, dreams, hopes, plans for comedy? Like, I mean, I guess without even taking into consideration like what's going on right now, would you want to be on like a nationwide tour or like a Netflix special or like what like?
It goes back and forth, but I'm a big class taker. I think you gotta, like if you were saying with LinkedIn and people to help, like, yeah, I like getting help. I've had like a million tutors growing up. Like I need the help and the motivation. So the beginning of this, I took a pilot writing class and I have a beat sheet for it and stuff like that. And it's an idea I've had for about maybe a year and it still isn't written, but I like the idea so much. I want it to be a pilot. Like in the short term, I would love to have a show, at least sell a show. I think that would be amazing to.
Do you act? You would act in it too.
Sure. I mean, I think it might be a cartoon, which I didn't think it would be. It might be an animated show, which is cool because I never thought that. But like, I also do voiceover. So I would love to do my own voiceover for a show. Yeah, the long-term goal and the short-term, I guess, is to keep doing stand-up as much as possible, to write. I'd love to be a writer on a show, to write my own show, and just to kind of, I mean, don't know. I'm an okay actress. I know people who are much better. So, but I'm not going to say no. If someone's like,
Find the right role. It's all about finding the right role for you.
yeah, I've never been like, no, I won't act in something, but I'm not going to say that I've put blood, sweat, and tears into acting. I have
I
not.
follow.
Yeah,
The, the comedian's path to
yeah,
acting.
a comedian.
Using it to promote yourself as a comedian. Use acting.
Exactly. Like I've done improv. It's
I've
hard.
read.
It's really hard. But it's a great, I mean, super good. I don't know. I can't really like, as much as I want to like knock all these things.
That's what I want. That's what I want to not want to do. Or I mean, I guess I kind of would want to, but like, is improv? I just kind of haven't. But like, out of all the years I've been in LA, I've never like taken an improv class. And like people say, it's good for your social skills and confidence and thinking on your feet and all this stuff.
It's really good for listening too.
Yeah.
Because you just, like, I can't tell you how many times you see two people go on stage in an improv scene and they're like, hi, it's like, hey, son. And the other person's like, hey, sister. And it's like, you're not listening. Like that person, you did. Like what? Like
it's that blatant. It's that blatant.
Sometimes I've heard it like where someone's like given themselves a name and the person like they just weren't listening or because I think a lot of times people have the story in their own head. They go into it with a story in their head. And then the other person comes in with a story.
Right.
And then they don't mesh and they listen to themselves instead of the other person.
Yeah, they did. That's not improv. They wrote scripts.
Right. Well, that's what's so funny because when you see bad improv, you're like, oh. When you see good improv, you're like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And so much of it is really listening to each other. Truly, so much of it is listening. And I mean, I took an improv class and I mean, I don't remember what was so funny, but I do remember that I took this class and there was one kid in the class who just like kept like, he just like thought he could like punchline, like button everything he wanted to do. Like, it was just very funny because basically the whole class became a bit around this guy to make the scene work because he just was so not good.
He wasn't following any sort of rhythm of the conversation.
Yeah, and he couldn't play the game. So eventually, so one time I remember I had to like was the last one we were in a scene together. Basically, like I did something and then basically like we made a game out of like, and he kind of like we did it around him. But if you can listen and the rest of the class can listen, you can have that kind of like, it's not nonverbal, but that kind of conversation and make it work and figure out the game. It's wildly useful, and it helps with writing too because you find the games and the jokes within a greater thing, a greater scene. So it's a super good skill. I mean, I would definitely recommend it.
But socialization has been canceled, so I don't need to do that right now.
Yeah, and I don't think Zoom improv is very.
That's not gonna work out.
I mean, it could be. I've done a Zoom show and it was fun, but it's hard because you like can't really hear people laughing.
Yeah, I know. It's a very mixed bag. I've talked about this with quite a few comedians about the Zoom shows and the issues and struggles. And
I did hear a really cool thing from a photographer I know who told me, he goes by Just Off the Six. I don't know if you, Andrew Levy, but you should hit him up. He's great. Shout out to him. He's a big photographer though for comedy shows in LA. And he just shot this really cool show where basically it's a green screen and the, like on the green screen are computer screens with people on their couch watching a show. And then the comedian stands in the middle of the room. And so they can hear the laughter. It's cool. And they can do like stage or crowd work. And it's very cool.
I'm going to have to check this out because I'm like trying to picture what she's talking about. I'm like,
I couldn't picture it. I'm
going to check that out. That sounds awesome. And what about like your immediate future plans in the coming weeks? I mean, you gotta write your pilot. I'll probably check up on you about that.
Oh God, you and everyone else.
Oh, you don't even need me to because other people are already doing it. All right, you don't need me to do that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I should really. It's a good idea. Whenever I talk about it, I like it. So I'm going to work on that. I'm applying for jobs wherever. I'm kind of just trying to. I'm like, I want to do something good. Like I really want to try and I don't know, maybe look for a job with like a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Or like even right now, we're like trying to figure out like even
It's hard.
Part of me is like maybe I want to help with like a school board to figure out like how to get kids back to school this year. Like I just want to help. I feel like this time is so crazy and I just want to try and help however I can.
What about because they have music lessons online for kids. Why can't you teach comedy to kids? Can you do it? Can it be done? There's no interest. It's the parents don't want the kids to go down this path at all. Is that what the problem?
Maybe it's like my parents are behind me while we're teaching this class. Like maybe the class is how to get your kid to actually do something productive. I don't know. I think right now it's kind of it's as terrible as like everything is right now. The sky's kind of the limit. So
yeah, everyone's lost their mind. Parents have lost their mind. I like my idea for you and other comedians to teach comedy to kids online.
I've also gotten really big into tie-dye. I made this shirt. I tie-dyed this shirt. Pretty good. And friendship bracelets. I'm really into those. I'm sending them to all my friends. It's nothing like crazy, but yeah, you find a weird creative I've never been a good artist, but like this is a creative outlet that allows me to do something and create something and see a finished product.
Yeah, we got to somehow figure out how to sustain ourselves and avoid the corporate ladder.
I know.
Because that's what it sounds like. That's what I kind of was alluding to earlier, is that like you can't let like the day job interfere with like your passions and creative endeavors, and that happens when people are like start pursuing you climb that corporate ladder in your job, and then you don't have time for your other endeavor. Like that balance. It's hard. Life is hard. We should just all give up. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, I think it's like, yeah, we can all give up. It's also like, let's just
keep going.
Figure it out, man. I guess that's all the only other option.
Yeah. Keep going.
I think we'll figure it out.
What about stand-up? How do you get back on? Like the whole state has been just like canceled. 2020 is canceled. Like you're just looking ahead to next year.
I do love the idea of like a drive-in show. I think that's awesome.
Right.
When the weather's good, that's a great thing to figure out. Look, I mean, something like I think people can't even figure out how to get kids into schools right now. Like
it's not priority as a comedy show, but that's what we all need probably more than anything.
Totally, but I do think like I was talking to someone who said that maybe they would turn the movie theaters into classrooms, so that they'd have a lot of space and they would like be able to show something on TV. I don't know. There's like a lot of like, I saw something like
more open air. It's more open air.
Yeah. And I wonder like if there's something with performing, maybe it's more theater performing. If you're going to do stand up, it's more in a theater.
It's got to be outdoors. I think that's where we're headed is a lot. If it can be outdoors, all these restaurants are setting up like on the street and stuff.
I think outdoor stand up, like, I mean, that's where you saw me do stand up.
Right.
I think outdoor stand-up is awesome. I love a good backyard show. It's always fun. It always feels more relaxed. I'm all for it. We could figure out like when it gets cold, tents and like heated things. I mean, I don't know. I think as long as I think it's doable. I do think it's doable. It's just not the priority right now.
Yeah, even with people socially distanced, it could still work, I guess, if everyone's like actually like literally is like everyone is like standing like 6 feet apart or sitting 6 feet apart at a show. Like it's harder to get that, like I've heard like it's harder to get like a good laugh going amongst the crowd. It's a different vibe when people are kind of separated. Comedy's more meant for people to be packed in somewhere like sardines.
Yeah, I also think it's just like, you know what, people are looking to laugh right now and they do want to see some energy.
Right.
I think once we like are able to get the curve down, and like once places are actually like this thing is actually able to get somewhat under control, and we can kind of look at that. But like, for example, like I have a deck here with my parents. Like if I had anyone who lived around here, like I'd invite them to come and like do an open mic, and we could like easily do it in my backyard.
Right.
We could wear masks and it'd be fine. But like it's not. But like in LA, I don't have that. I don't have a.
Yeah, I'm gonna message. I'm gonna try to get a show produced. I'm not stand-up, but I'll try to get a show produced. And I'll email or DM everyone I know. And do you have a deck? You got a deck? You got a backyard?
That's all it is. It's honestly like the best backyard shows are so fun anyway. Having a yard is like it's key. There's no problem with it as long as like, I mean, I know California basically just shut back down. So
Yeah.
But in time it'll be okay. And like, as long as like you're doing shit like this, like I'm, trying to write, as long as we're doing stuff and like being okay and checking in and taking care of like our mental health, I think we'll be all right. But.
Right. Are you writing stand-up material? Is it hard to write material and not be able to test it? Like, it slows you down in a way? No?
I've written some stuff. I don't know. It is weird
It's
to be
hard.
like, I haven't done stand-up in so long. And I have friends who've done stand-up for like a decade to like 15 years and they like haven't done it. It's a thing they've done every day, like 3 times a day for the past like 10 to 15 years. So
it's an adjustment.
It's wild. But a lot of those people are like writing scripts or they're doing podcasts and they're trying to flex that muscle as much as possible.
Yeah, can keep busy.
But it is crazy the idea that like I can't go to some shitty diner or bar and go do 3 to 5 minutes like and get no laughs. It's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I can't do that anymore. Like, oh man, it's crazy to be like I took that for granted. I totally took it for granted. Like I used to be like, oh, I can't find parking. This open mic isn't going to be worth it anyway. Like what I would do to go to an open mic right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, we all took a lot of things for granted, but is that really our fault? It is and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's no one could have. Well, not no one could have predicted this. People did, and if we'd handled it better, we wouldn't be in the situation. But
yeah,
a different kind of podcast, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I definitely
we don't have time to get into that.
Right.
I definitely appreciate your time for sure. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, follow you, anything else you're working on or want to promote or talk about or forgot to say? I'll kind of give you the floor. It's all yours.
You can follow me at on Instagram. I'm Allie B Zis, ALLIEBZIS. It's pretty easy to find me. My last name is Zisfein. ZISFEIN. Literally, if you type that in, you'll find most of my comedy stuff and maybe my DUI. So for the most part, like you'll find me. If you want to give me a job, I'll definitely think about it.
Is that DUI? Is a DUI off your record?
I guess it is. My mom's a lawyer, so yeah, it's expunged.
Yeah. Do you hear that, potential employers? The DUI.
Hey, do a background check. I'm good. Person. I mean, shit happens for sure, but you know what? It's all right. Please, my old boss, who I love to death, I drove her around with my car with a breathalyzer in it. So she's a good boss.
Yeah, that's funny.
Happens, but yeah, that was a wild ride. But yeah, I'm working on pilots. Happy to do, love doing podcasts. I'm so happy I got to do this one and just kind of, you can find me in my parents' house in Connecticut for the foreseeable future, but hopefully out in the real world eventually.
Get a little backyard show going by you.
Yeah, maybe I'll invite my parents' friends.
Co-produced by mom and dad, and they'll be the audience.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, they'll love that. Yeah, Maria Bamford did that. She did a comedy special for her parents.
There you go. I see people doing it a little bit out for the neighbors in the street and stuff like that. Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know if the kids in my neighborhood would really. Maybe I'll do comedy for kids.
Yeah, you can just adjust your material.
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate your time for sure, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll talk soon. Hopefully, we'll see you back in California and on a stage soon. I don't know, probably 2021, if we're being realistic at all. But who knows?
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Oh, you got it. Have a good night.
All right.
Later. So there you have it. My conversation with Allie Zisfein. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate her taking the time. Perhaps our conversation was not the best advertisement for Syracuse University. Or maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway, for everything about this show, of course, head to peoplewelovepodcast.com. And I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening, of course. And thanks as always. And let's talk soon. Peace.